Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I like to discuss what Rishi Sunak might have offered former SNP MP Dr. Lisa Cameron in return for her spectacular defection to the Conservatives this morning. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel. So it's all kicking off in the political news this week, isn't it? In fact, even in Scottish politics, a couple of things, because we've sort of got word of what Yusuf's plan is, his strategy for support for independence. I think I'll leave that until after the SNP's conference, though. I have thoughts about it. I don't think it's a good idea, but I'll wait for after the conference. But anyway, this morning, there's me sorting myself out for the Labour social stream. And I see the news that Lisa Cameron of the SNP is now a Conservative MP. That seemed odd. She claimed it was because of the toxic culture of bullying within the Westminster SNP group. Okay, I mean, bullying is a general problem in Westminster. I'm not naive enough to say it doesn't exist in Labour, the SNP or any other party. Although, being fair, I suspect that the Green Party's only MP, Caroline Lucas, probably doesn't bully herself. But within Westminster in general, bullying is a problem, and it's not confined to the Conservative Party. But if you're going to leave your party because of bullying, I'm not sure the Conservative Party is where you'd naturally head. A viewer on the stream then added context by saying that she was facing a deselection battle, and as it turns out, it wasn't a deselection battle. She was going to be deselected, and the decision was going to be announced today. But then, of course, that made a lot more sense. However, her current seat in East Kilbride is not flipping Tory at the next election. Like, current polling would suggest that the SNP will just about hold on to it, although Labour will be breathing down their neck. But the Tories are nowhere. This seat is going to be a battle between the SNP and Labour. She gets nothing by being the Conservative candidate in this seat, other than a lot of grief on the doorstep. In fact, and this is just me speculating, I didn't even know she was going to be deselected until today, but it might be that her deselection was driven by that new challenge from Labour in the seat ahead of the next election. Maybe they think they need someone who's more in tune with the party's main policies, because she seems to be a massive outlier within the party. You know, the SNP, it's a bit of a funny bunny in terms of its domestic policies. Obviously, its main purpose is Scottish independence. But it has to have a domestic manifesto because, of course, it stands for election and runs a government. So the policies need to be... They need to have policies, and those policies tend to be more left-wing and liberal because that fits the vast majority of supporters and members. But there are also supporters and members on the right or with more authoritarian or conservative views in the party, such as Dr. Cameron. It's why, along with the Conservatives, some MSPs actually voted against the gender reform bill. You know, she wanted to jump before she was pushed. Then you think, so why defect? Why not just stand as an independent? She's going to lose the next election anyway. Then I saw the news that Rishi Sunak was personally involved in discussions with her. If true, that of course means he's offered her something. But what? Well, obvious possibility is the SNP, so they've fallen back in the polls for Westminster voting intention compared to 2019. They're not going to gain seats. They're going to lose seats. It's really a case of how many seats they lose. Whereas a year ago, the SNP may have been eyeing up one or more Tory seats to nab again. They've already nicked a few. They'd be thinking, right, we can get another one or two here. Now it looks like the Conservatives might actually have a chance of regaining a couple themselves. In some of those seats, of course, it could end up being a three-way battle between the Tories, the SNP, and either the Lib Dems or Labour. I haven't checked through them all in detail. But if the Conservatives think that the polling now gives them a chance to actually target extra winnable seats in Scotland, it may well be that Cameron has been offered the chance to be a candidate for the Conservatives in one of those seats. I mean, if she was going to be deselected as an SNP candidate, it would be her best chance to still be an MP following the next election. It might even be that someone is standing down in a current Conservative seat, although I haven't checked that one out yet. Maybe even she's willing to travel. Maybe she could come, south of the border to stand for a seat for the Conservatives. So, there's a possibility there. Some are suggesting that Sunak may have offered her like a peerage. I mean, it's possible. Or a damehood. I mean, any honours that she would value would certainly be at play, because it costs nothing for Sunak to offer them. And Cameron loses nothing by quitting if she was definitely going to be deselected anyway. And we are told that the decision had been made and she was going to be informed of it today. What it certainly means is, I think it's fair to question the claims of bullying. Now, never to be done lightly. It's hard enough for victims of bullying to be taken seriously without coming up with ways to dismiss them. But it would seem a hell of a coincidence to me that someone who is about to be deselected just so happens to leave the party citing bullying. Makes you wonder if the bullying was actually just SNP colleagues in Westminster telling her that they're not really into her transphobic ideas. In terms of the impact on the SNP ahead of their conference, I've seen some say that this will be unwelcome news for yourself. I'm not sure I really see it. Like, if she was going to be deselected anyway, and that's well known, it's easier to see how her defection is just self-serving. Also, the fact that Cameron has now come out as saying that she's not that arsed about Scottish independence as it happens sort of emphasises the point that maybe she's not a great fit for the SNP in the first place. I think Yusuf's made that point as well. Also marks her out as being a little bit flexible with her beliefs. Like, there are lines between parties. Like, there's not this great no man's land between parties, of course. So you do get people falling out of love with one party and joining one that's sort of adjacent. But to go from the party whose main raison d'etre is Scottish independence to not just a unionist party, but the one most hostile to the idea of the SNP, that seems bizarre to say the least. But I don't see this being a major headache for the SNP, really. It's not welcome news, sure, but she wasn't going to be the SNP. I mean, if you're going to deselect an MP, there's a good chance they're going to leave the party anyway, isn't there? Sunak obviously feels it's a bit of a coup for him, but you know, he was directly involved in negotiations, so he wanted it. Not clear why. There's possibilities. Is he going to stand up in the House of Commons when Parliament reconvenes and welcome her? But then won't people ask, well, why didn't you welcome the last new MP you got after the Uxbridge by-election? She might be useful to the Conservatives in trying to persuade some voters in Scotland that the SNP are falling out of favour. But that won't be helped if she does if she becomes a candidate for a seat in England. She would need to sort of be in Scotland somewhere, wouldn't she, for that? I mean, combined with the heavy by-election loss in Rutherglen to Labour, you could argue it puts the SNP on the back foot a little. But I think the actual election results are more impactful than defections. You know, I think this will probably be seen for what it almost certainly is. Someone was about to get the sack, jumped before she was pushed. I am interested to know what Sunak offered her. He clearly offered her something. But we will find out in due course. If she becomes the candidate of a winnable seat, we have our answer. If she ends up in Sunak's dissolution honours list, we have our answer. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. I hope you found the video interesting. If you did, please click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, the join button for memberships. And until next time, I'll see you later.